On behalf of Dr. Sofia Aguirre and the board of the Foundation for Social and Cultural Advancement, Foundation SCA, I'd like to express our sincere thanks to the Center for Bioethics and Human Dignity for its invitation and to address the topic of dignity as it relates to Foundation SCA. The Foundation SCA began in 2008, and the core concept of helping women live with dignity was included in our original vision statement. It reads, I quote, "The struggle of women is not an isolated issue, and Foundation SCA is committed to helping underprivileged girls and women around the world live with dignity and build brighter futures for themselves, their families, and communities." Dr. Aguirre's work as an economist involved in international development issues allowed her numerous opportunities to see, review, evaluate programs around the globe aimed at achieving the goals of the second half of that statement, the Building Better Futures part. However, she realized that most of the efforts in the area of economic development are often approached from the developed countries' point of view rather than considering the developing countries' perspectives. Many of these programs also frequently focus on one specific aspect of what people in these countries need without taking into consideration the person as a whole, the environment in which they live, and or the importance of the institutions as well as the circumstances that surround them. For the Foundation SCA to be effective, the board and the seed investors knew that any programs we were going to support needed to make an impact on strengthening the institutions that are part of people's lives. And strengthening the institutions is difficult to achieve because the local voice is usually ignored or minimized. For the Foundation SCA, the local voice was women and girls, who are typically on the fringes of society without power or authority, those with no one to speak on their behalf. What makes the Foundation SCA unique is its way of partnering with the local voice, the women and the girls who belong to these local institutions wherever they live in the world. Everyone knows the catchy phrase, think global, act local, or eat local. At Foundation SCA, we think global and act local, mainly, but not exclusively, in the area of educational and professional training programs for girls and women. Dr. Aguirre's research showed that when a program is supported locally, its sustainability over the long term is ensured. Every project SCA supports has originated locally and has a proven track record of effectiveness in its corner of the world even before they apply for grant assistance from us. Women's programs are different. Women and girls are an important factor in the development process because of the multiplier effect we've talked about earlier, that multiplier effect that they have on families, neighborhoods, communities, and throughout society at every level. Yet frequently they're sidestepped. They don't receive the full benefits of the development efforts. When women and girls are included, more often than not, the focus of the programs addresses them in a partial rather than a holistic manner. For instance, a development program may focus only on increasing a woman's job skills and completely ignore her education in areas of personal formation, such as hygiene or educating her children. Programs supported by the SCA focus on the whole person. They view girls and women in an integral manner. They seek to help girls and women discover their dignity and live according to it. So I'd like to give you some real-life examples of how women discover their dignity and how that has changed their lives. In 2011, the Foundation SCA received a grant request from a program called Las Gravileas in Antigua, Guatemala. The specific request was for funding for a 3-month program of intensive training for women affected by Tropical Storm Agatha in 2010. The storm, if you remember, caused massive destruction in most of the country as a result of floods and mudslides. This project was conceived as a realistic and timely solution to give the affected Guatemalan women the knowledge and tools they needed in 3 areas. First, to generate income as soon as possible, not only to survive the disaster, but to rebuild what was lost. 2, to focus on the integral development of the woman, not only her technical and business knowledge, but her personal and cultural growth as well. And 3, to uplift the whole suffering community with the development and work of these new women entrepreneurs. Each woman in the program received one-on-one personal support from a staff member during the 3 months of classes. One of the women enrolled in the program was trying to start a clothing business and was taking sewing skills classes. She also received the guidance on personal formation through the one-on-one meetings. During those meetings and an on-site visit to the woman's house where she was to start her sewing or seamstress business, it was revealed that she had a teenage deaf-mute daughter who was terribly mistreated by the family because of her inability to communicate with anyone. The daughter was dirty, unkempt, basically lived a cruel life apart in the family dwelling. As the mother recognized her own dignity through the mentoring, through that interest, that personal interest, in addition to the formation classes, her understanding of the requirements needed to build a business, she grew to understand that her daughter deserved the same respect and was worthy of dignity. With the encouragement of the Gravilea staff, the daughter, Juana Maria, was also enrolled in sewing classes, where she excelled. She completed every course in a stellar fashion. She loved children, and she started a line of children's clothing that is more successful than many of the programs that are available, and her work is being sold in hotels. This all happened through this sponsorship. I'd like to show you a photo of this young woman, Juana Maria, and as you can see, the difference or the change in her appearance and the hope that she has for the future is totally reflected in her eyes and demeanor. An SCA donor who supports Las Gravileas recently visited the project and wrote to us that she saw that, quote, more than technical and business knowledge are being imparted there. For those who don't speak Spanish, she continued with a definition. A gravilea is a large tree commonly found in the area. With its expansive branches, it provides much-needed shade for the coffee plantations. The program at Las Gravileas echoes the same sentiment. It offers each of the women a nurturing environment for her integral development. Now I'd like to talk to you about Sub-Saharan Africa. Although located on a different continent, women and children in 2 programs supported by SCA also have similar life-changing stories to tell. SCA has provided scholarship assistance to young women in Cameroon and Kenya since 2009. We recently received a report from Nairobi, where we have partnered with the Kianda Foundation to assist girls living in an internal displaced persons camp called Wanjohi Farm. Wanjohi Farm was formed to provide housing after a bout of tribal warfare, almost ethnic cleansing, that took place following the national elections in 2007. And if you're up to date on Kenya, they're going through their national elections right now. So we're hoping for the best. In 2012, 4 siblings whose father was killed in front of them to meet demands of tribal justice were provided scholarships to attend boarding school outside of the camp. Boarding school is a traditional form of education in Kenya. The director wrote us the following: "The family, the 4 children, is extremely poor, and the conditions in which they live are below the dignity of a human being. These children need a normal setup where, apart from academics, they can be looked after and can learn the basics. Otherwise, they will not manage to be normal." In other words, they will not grow up to be normal people. Now, for 9 months a year, they live in a simple but normal environment where they have a bed, blanket, soap, toothpaste, and even toilet paper. These are things they had never seen before. They also have meals every day, very simple ones, but constant. Another improvement is that when they're in school, they forget a bit that they are displaced people and are the same as any other child. They have friends. At midterm, we, meaning the directors of the foundation, visit them, just as the other children always get their parents to visit and bring them food. We do the same, so that they don't feel different or stigmatized. This is what SCA's benefactors are doing today for those 4 displaced children named Viola, Tabitha, Phyllis, and Kelvin. The Foundation SCA wants to see a world where all women, all people, have the skills to survive, understand how valuable they are as an individual, and recognize the potential they have to shape their family, society, and country in a positive way. All recipients of SCA-provided funds are required to give back to their families and community after completion of their studies. In Cameroon, the young women at Sorowell, which is a vocational training school for young women in the hospitality industry, they go out to the villages in the surrounding countryside every month to teach the business skills they have just acquired. They also provide instruction on food hygiene to their parents, which is helping local health conditions in their villages. Sorowell directors have written to us to say that parents are starting businesses, little micro businesses, based on their children's instruction. So passing on knowledge is a key factor in helping others to discover their worth and potential to affect change. Every person enrolled in SCA programs in Guatemala, Cameroon, Kenya, Poland, Russia, Slovenia, and the USA has their own story to tell. I'm very proud to be associated with SCA and our efforts to change the face of development programs around the world, where, I repeat, girls and women discover their dignity and live according to it. Thank you.